Well, the Pacific is definitely a developing market when it comes to the internet. I've made 5 trips in the past 2 years, and I've seen Samoa and Fiji and Vanuatu and the Solomon Islands and Tonga. And Tonga and Vanuatu both have brand new fiber cables. Fiji, of course, has had fiber for 16 years. The Solomons still don't have fiber optic access. And what I've been interested in is the uptake of internet and how it's difficult for users and service providers in the Pacific, almost regardless of whether or not they have access to fiber. Those that do have access to fiber spend almost as much as they would on satellite, so they get slightly better performance at the same cost. So my initial investigation was to see, well, what is internet uptake like in the Pacific and why? And this is the start of a larger project, but for the time being, I did some topology research of the Pacific, and then I made some network probes that I distributed around the world in Tokyo and Singapore, Sydney, in Sao Paulo, in Oregon in the US, in Hawaii, in Washington, D.C., and in Ireland. And so I said, from these locations in the world, what's connectivity like to get into the Pacific? Are we going on relatively direct paths, or are we taking quite a long distance around? And does that have anything to do with internet uptake and the cost of internet? Is the lack of peering arrangements one of the reasons that internet is so expensive and that uptake is so low? Looking at all of the countries in the world, internet uptake is very closely related to GDP per capita. So wealthier nations have higher internet uptake. You rarely have 100%, but it is a nice curve, and you get over to countries like New Caledonia and Tahiti, you have very, very high internet uptake, corresponding with very high GDP per capita, quite wealthy island nations. But then you get down to countries like Western Samoa, and their internet uptake is very low for their GDP per capita. They're actually quite a wealthy country. Samoa and Western Samoa are much wealthier than, say, the Solomons or Vanuatu, yet their internet uptake is very, very, very low. So what's going on here? They even have fiber optic access. What's the problem? So this is what the talk is about. I've gone and investigated topologies, commercial arrangements, interconnections, and just done an overview of how internet in the Pacific is put together.